as I got into the business,
Oh,
and understood something that I couldn't have.
you're talking about the small
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, do you have any, like, carpool trucks or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I've
You're lucky. I have family here in Seattle.
their GPS.
No, and it just we worked along with the clients for so many years and so many hours.
No, John's here. You coming in here?
See, look at that.
Oh, you're right.
I was like,
Is this base camp?
So
Okay.
you tell me your name.
Tyler Higgins, center of office. What's your name?
Rick Bentley.
I think so. I think
I'm a
so.
broker they don't talk about.
Yeah, seriously.
So, you brand new with the company?
No, I've been here for 3 years.
Oh, nice.
Good to see you.
I'm sure we've met before, I just don't remember.
Probably.
Okay, everybody, let's get started. Let's get going. Take a seat. Got a great day ahead of us. Appreciate everybody showing up and being part of this great day here. We got a guest speaker today that we're excited about. So I appreciate you being here. So, but before we get into that, Kenzie, you want to get up and give us a title tip?
Okay.
Give us some exciting things about the market.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenzie with Vanguard Title. We're down the stairs. And something cool I wanted to show you that we can do for you for the next year is help you do your vision board. So we care. We can. I can even pick the dreams for you, Jason. So this is my vision board. And basically what we do, we can do a training with you, kind of go over your why and map out your 1 year, 5 year, 20 year plan, whatever you feel like doing. And then I can put these into format like this, or if you have less pictures, we can do that. So this is mine, and we can print it in different sizes. So if you want to stick one on your bathroom counter, mirror, in your car, in your wallet, we can do that too. One of these actually is kind of fun. This is a speaker speaking, and I actually made the goal to speak at a summit.
Oh, wow.
Next year, which is really funny because I didn't tell anyone. And then Danette Gramp calls me last Friday, and she goes, "Hey Kenzie, are you aware that you're on our agenda for January summit?"
There you go.
So it's kind of cool if you
exciting.
put it out there. I know, 8 days.
I
8
love
days
it.
into the new year. So yeah.
Fun.
So let me know if you want any help on putting these together, because we want to be your partners in your business.
Definitely.
So,
And you know, they're up on the, or down on the 4th. And these guys are like great to just get anything you need anytime you want. So partner with them. They're really good. So make it happen.
Can I say something about Vanguard?
Yes, please do.
I was trying to find a phone number of this guy that was selling a property, and I called Sue up and said, "Hey, can you help me with this? I've been hunting. Can you help me?" She said, "Yeah, give me a minute." Calls me back not too long later, and she found a phone number for me.
Wow.
Called the guy up, said, "Hey, thinking about selling?" He's like, "Actually, yeah, I am." I sent him listing paperwork yesterday.
Good for you. Great.
So I was
Wow.
like, I called Sue. I was like, "You are awesome."
Rock star, right?
that's
Look, these
awesome.
guys being so close to us and leveraging in with us so good is it makes your business streamlined, and you know, taking advantage of that right here and the great service that you give. Thank you for partnering with us and being so great in what you do. So great things to come in 2019. Give these guys a chance if you're not. Leverage in to streamline your business with them. Thank you so much for being here. House items. So, right? There you go.
People will follow.
Toastmasters today at 1. And Brenda Lee is speaking. Sue is speaking.
Joanna Williams.
Joanne, it's going to be awesome. So look, Toastmasters is if you're not part of that, become part of that. We've had a lot of fun already. Very excited to see what comes of that. It'll help you become a great speaker like John and George are, and it just helps you get rid of that fear. So you have anything to add to that?
Well, you almost did perfectly. You said we've already had a lot of fun already.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
Right?
Yeah.
Party's just started. So if you're looking at becoming a member in it and you're not, Jonathan is a great contact to be getting with and filling that out. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Be part of that. We have the movie tonight. Be there at, I guess, 6. Or is there a...
Depends on which show. 6:15 or 7:15.
There you go.
Unless you want the ice cream sundae.
I'm getting the ice cream.
Yeah. If you want picnic chair, they say you need to be there an hour early.
Yeah, exactly. Follow him to the back. He'll catch up with you. So great. Make sure you're there tonight. Again, the movie. Is there anything I'm missing, Russ?
Yeah, the ice cream sundaes.
Ice cream sundaes. Is there anything else that's on the... Mike Ferry, definitely. Lindsay, you said that this was selling out fairly, that the hotels were...
The Mike Ferry production retreat, the first block of hotels already sold out. So they opened another one. I don't know how long it'll last. That was about a week ago. So
And
if you guys are looking at doing that, I highly recommend it. I am a firm believer production retreat is the best one out of all of them. The people that go to them are more serious about their business. And so true mastermind groups and opportunities for actual real goal partners. So.
And everybody I have spoken to over the years say that's their favorite. So be part of it. It'll definitely help increase your business.
Spending time on buyers this year.
That's true.
Too,
That is going to be different. It's going to be buyers. I'm really excited to actually hear about that. So become part of that. Centerville, welcome, guys.
Oh,
Being,
thanks.
being here part of what we're doing and enjoying base camp with us. So with that being said, Mr. John,
Yes,
turn it
sir.
over to you, sir.
All right, good to be here.
Yes.
Good, thank you. Good morning. That is really tepid. With a group this size, you should put a little more energy into it, please. Makes me feel good, Jim. We're going to do something here right out of the bat here because it's our off the bat. Because the room is so sparsely populated, move up. Move up. Get up here close to me. Including the front row. Yeah, you're good, Brindley. I think, yeah, there you go.
Say something funny.
You said it.
Come on, something funny?
You said it to Curtis.
Let me just say something true. You're an ass.
Yeah.
See, that was funny. He laughed. I accomplished 2 things. I was truthful and funny.
That's all about.
Yeah. See, and you laughed too. See if we can just keep on going, Lindsay. So I asked, where are you, Russ? I asked Russ this morning what I should talk about, and he's...
Don't tell him.
Well, okay, bye, see ya.
Oh, don't tell him that I told you.
Oh, that you told me. Well, no, he did. I asked him, I said, what should I talk about? He said, I'll have to think about it. And then he came back and he said, well, why don't you talk about communication? Because that's something that we do talk a lot about, but I think that it would probably be beneficial that we focus, again, more on it, maybe from your perspective. I can do that, but I'm looking at the group that's here. This is not really a new group. I really had anticipated, where the hell are all the new recruits? Where are all these new
Jennifer just
people?
joined us.
I know
Just
Jennifer.
a
Give her a round of applause because she's the newest agent. Where are they? Sorry, Dustin, welcome. He knows he's going to get singled out.
They're on the phone.
So Dustin's going to give his listing presentation this morning.
Right.
Ready? Okay, cool. That's great. So, which one's mine? This one? Thank you. So I want to give you an option. I can talk about communication. How many of you went to church last Sunday?
Yeah.
Was that? Oh, okay. We're not certain? It wasn't that memorable.
He was there.
You had a hangover and you were still just a little bit. I'm kidding. Well, you know, was the message different? Did you learn anything? I did go to church actually. I did. You didn't see that posted on my Instagram? I did. I went to the cathedral downtown LA. It was gorgeous. You should look at it. No, but let's get back on track. You went to church. Was the message different?
No.
It was the same. It was the same message. I can give you the same message, or I can give you an option to give me some things that you would like to talk about, given maybe the time of the year or challenges that you're going through. Otherwise, I can stick to my agenda. It's up to you. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. I didn't ask you.
What are you
Can
most
you do
excited
it with
about talking about,
while you're
John?
dancing?
Can I do it while I'm dancing? You've seen me dance, so no, I don't dance. but I probably could try.
So what I see a lot of right now is why don't people actually get on the phones? We come in the mornings, we do our role plays, we spend time learning all these amazing things.
Okay.
And they don't actually apply it. They just have it in their quiver.
Okay.
And nobody actually does it. Except for me, by the way.
By you.
Can I add to that?
Okay.
It was fantastic.
Can I piggyback on that, something that might go along with that?
Yep.
Just so you know.
How about the skill of digging into a why, nailing down a why?
Okay.
What was that question again? A little louder.
Knowing your purpose.
How to discover your why
Oh, gotcha.
or identify with it. Okay, what else? It sounds like you want to talk about multiple topics, which is great. I'm completely okay with that. There's got to be more than that. There's nothing, but you got it all figured out. Well, that's great. Cool. So how did you do in 2018 versus what you would expect? Wait a minute. I'm just asking a question, John. Hold a second. I want to ask. Hold on.
Okay.
Thank you. I love you. Versus what you said you were going to do. How did you perform in 2018? Anybody ahead of their goal? Raise your hand. Congratulations. So one of you, give her a round of applause. She deserves that. In addition to all the cash that she has, how many doors do you own, by the way? 18. 18 doors. That's what consistency will provide, right? Okay, cool. So how many of you are right on track to achieve your goal? Okay, so we got 1, 2, very cool. 3.
My goal's 0.
0. Oh, great. He's a classic underachiever. I love it. You're close. You're gonna.
What goal are we talking about?
We're talking about production in the business.
Well, are we talking about closings or are we talking about GCI?
The thing that's most important.
GCI.
Your money.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that's
Then I'm
why.
ahead of
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Is this a philanthropic endeavor for you?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking. So you do want to make money. Okay, so are you on task? Are you on target?
Ahead.
You're ahead. Okay, well you give him a round of applause. How long have you been in the business, by the way?
Total 10 years.
10 years. And prior to last year, what was your best closed transactions?
38.
Best prior to last year?
Oh no, last year.
See, he didn't listen to the question.
Sorry, last year.
You just ruined it. What was it prior to last year?
Like 14.
14. So you went from 14 to 38?
Yeah.
And this year you're on track to do about the same. You'll do about 40 this year?
41.
Yeah. Maybe we should be asking you how you go from 14 to 40 in a year.
Nice work.
Give him a round of applause, really. Okay. So John.
So a question I ask is, how do you go about acquiring $1 million asset?
Okay. All right.
Sounds like I should ask for Brenda.
Sounds like you should ask me.
John, what about role playing? Like, you talk about the skill of role playing and the benefits of it.
Okay.
Practice.
Benefits of role play. Okay.
Practice.
I already have that answer.
Okay. Cool. All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Because some of this won't take long. Good. Anything? Yes.
What are we willing to accept in our lives?
Okay.
Or unwilling to accept?
Not willing to accept?
Well, I first said willing. What are we willing to accept into our lives?
Okay, willing.
If you want something to come into your life, you have to be open to it, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. What's your name?
Dylan.
Dylan. Okay, Dylan, thank you.
Things you would have done different as a new agent.
Ah, that's a great one. That is a great one. I mean, all these are great, but Dylan gets the prize for the best one, I think. That is a great question. Okay, what would you do differently? Brenda Lee, would you like to hit rewind on your business and do things differently?
Absolutely.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Okay, all right. There's a question mark there. Anybody else? Good? Yeah? What are you laughing at?
I'm just saying, I hope you saw the suit guy in the kitchen. He
The
looked
suit
good.
guy. Oh,
suit.
is it kind of baggy? Is it my butt kind of baggy?
Well, I was looking at your coat jacket, but.
Oh, that, yeah. I told Brenda Lee, I said that all of my suits are in California, and I flew here without any of my suits, and I went to my closet here, and there was one suit, and it was this one. And the reason I realize now that I left it here and didn't take it to California, because it doesn't fit. So I have to tell you, here's the truth. No, it's all good. So what I did on the way here, I stopped by Men's Warehouse to buy a shirt because my shirt didn't fit me, and I had to buy a new belt because my belt didn't fit me. So I got half my act together, Laurel. So lay out. Jeez. Okay, so let's take these in turn. Why don't we follow through? So let me ask you the question, because I like the Socratic method as it relates to learning. Why don't we follow through? What would you say? What is the answer or answers to that question?
Fear.
Okay, so we don't follow through because of fear. Okay, so let's explore that for a moment. I want to make this productive. So you should be taking notes. You should have written down these questions in order, and then you should be writing down the answers in the conversation so that you can go back and revisit these. Because are these challenges in our lives? Yes. Every one of you should be saying yes. Yes. And if they're challenges, then we need to look for the what? The answers, the solutions. And just because you hear it and we have an academic discussion here doesn't mean that you're going to then take it and go out and implement it. Am I correct?
Yes.
So therefore, it would be really good for you to take the notes now, because you're not going to remember maybe 10% of what we talk about today. And if you don't write it down, there is zero chance that you're going to implement it, period. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say there's probably a high probability we don't fully understand the reward and or the price.
Okay. I like it.
Because if we had a high understanding of both of those and the reward more than offset the price, we'd follow through.
Okay. That's a great answer. I like it. What else?
I think oftentimes people, right, the fear of failure, yes, but I think also the fear of success. I think times we get held up on, what is possible or what the reward is.
So what does that mean when you say the fear of success?
I think oftentimes sometimes you're held back because you're fearful. Like I had an agent, right, that I sat down with yesterday, and he says to me, well, how am I going to manage it all when I get to that level and and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You start thinking about all the things.
Get overwhelmed by the prospect of when I'm actually there.
Yeah.
How will I be able to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and Tony Robbins talks a lot about fear-based issues.
Yep.
And he was talking about how, you have a fear of what will your family think? What will your friends think? Once you're there, it's a lot further to fall.
Well, also just how about your own self-identity, right? How do you perceive yourself? And in going out and actually accomplishing it, that's inconsistent the way that you perceive yourself. And then, because I did this, I thought I was a what? A fraud.
Right.
And that people were going to discover me and realize, oh, he's just John from Orangeville, Utah. Trailer trash, grew up in a trailer. He doesn't deserve that. That's not who he is. That was a real challenge for me. I mean, it really was, legitimately. How many of you identify with that? It's like, well, that's not who I am, really. Okay, very good answer.
Discipline.
Lack of discipline. Okay, I like it. You had your hand up. Yeah, you.
No, actually, I identified.
Oh, that was
but
you
I didn't
identifying
hear
with
the
that.
answer that he said.
Okay, you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear the answer he said. Yeah.
That Alma said?
Yeah.
You want to repeat what you said?
What the fear of, what Tony Robbins says?
Yeah.
Oh, the fear of, families, what family will think, your fear of getting so tall, getting so high financially that you got to, that much further to fall,
Yeah.
things like that. What will your friends think? Your peer group, how will they perceive you? How will they? And I've had some of those issues as I've grown financially.
Yeah.
Where my peer group, they don't want to spend time with me because we don't mesh anymore.
You don't mesh anymore. You make them feel very uncomfortable. You make them feel inadequate.
Yeah.
They don't relate to you. They don't relate to your goal-focused lifestyle. They don't relate to the things that you have or that you say that you want. They don't relate to the future that you describe for yourself. They don't relate, right? Yeah.
Change is uncomfortable.
It
Change
is, isn't it?
uncomfortable, and I know Stephanie Barnes and I would always talk like, gosh, when does this ever get easier? It's just always one challenge after another, and I'm like, okay.
That's a great statement. When does this get easier? When does it get easier?
It doesn't.
When you work smart.
Say it.
Never.
Never. It never gets easier. In fact, can I give you a promise? Say yes.
Yes.
As long as you're goal focused and always want to achieve more than you already have, it will just simply get more difficult. But the good news is this, that in the process you will get what? You'll get better. So the road will be more difficult, but because you get better, you're able to get further down the road. Does that make sense? So here, we could go on and probably come up with, good afternoon, Ruby, how are you? Good to see you. Come on up here. We don't want you in the back. You're not Rosa Parks, and this is like 2018. Rosa sits up front.
I had luggage with me today.
Yes.
I think complacency has another thing to do with why people don't follow through. I know in my last career, I was a investment advisor.
Yeah.
And I reached a certain level of income, and it was enough for all my needs and everything. And I didn't really feel the motivation to come in and work 16 hours a day when, you know,
when you had enough.
8 would do it. Fine.
Yeah, you had enough. Yeah. It's really interesting. But here's the thing, and let's just boil this down and let's be very honest. Every one of your answers comes down to one thing, and it's what Alma talked about. There are 2 primary emotions in life, period. Write that down. There are 2 primary emotions in life, period. There are no more. When we talk about primary emotions. 2 primary controlling emotions. They are fear and they are love, period. Every other emotion that we experience, we can assign a term to: anger, hatred, happiness, joy, frustration, gratitude. Whatever other word we want to come up with to describe emotion, it comes from either fear or, say it, love. That's it. We're in the business of complicating things in life. Not only just in this business, but in life. So we try to rack our brains and figure out, good afternoon, Mr. Morris. Good to see you. Oh, yeah? Yeah.
I knew I smelled something.
I did too.
Did you smell it?
I did, I smelled it, yeah. And he's really efficient at sign language, I just want you to know that. He just told me I was number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah. I'm not letting you get away with that. There are 2 primary emotions, and we complicate things in life. And we try to come up with all sorts of explanations as to why we're not doing something or why it worked in one instance. How is it that I did it? I suspect that if I sat down with him and we delved into the conversation about how did you go from 14 to 38 in a year? How did that happen? My absolute certainty is, it goes back to who asked the question of, I think it was you, Turk. Where is it on the why? How do you discover your why? Was that your question? My suspicion is that he connected to a much higher degree the things that are important to him on, we take a look at the ledger, you know, the pluses and the minuses, the pluses, the love side, the minuses, the fear side. If we were to look at the positive side or the love side, my suspicion is he identified to a higher degree all of those things that are on that side of love in his life. Am I accurate?
Correct.
It's that simple. Here's what I know, that the average person won't follow through on the, talk is cheap, is it not? We're in the season of the year, we're leading up to it, New Year's, right? New Year's is the greatest opportunity to make a commitment to change their what? Their lives. It's the greatest opportunity because it's the end of one year and the beginning of a new. It's that renewal. We're going to become something different. We're going to become that person we know we can become.
Until January 7th.
Well, actually, it's actually February 17th, right about there.
Is it?
Yeah, statistically. 80% of the people by February 17th have given up on their New Year's resolution. And is it because the goal is no longer important to them? No. It's just as important that day as it was the day that they committed. The challenge is that those people are controlled more by what? Than they are love. It's that simple. But we want to complicate it. So that it goes really to I'm going to take these out of order, then it goes to the question that Turk asked, which is, how do you discover your why, or how do you get closer to it? Because that's what it's about. I want you to write this down under this point as it relates to there are 2 primary emotions. The 2 primary emotions are what?
Fear and love.
Fear and love. Which one do you want to be controlled by?
Love.
Here's the thing that I know. The people who are most passionate in life, who are most passionate about the things that they do and the people that they spend their times with, are always the people who are most successful in life, period. Period. Use one word to describe Steve Jobs.
Passionate.
Driven.
Okay, passionate, driven. Some people would say ass.
I was gonna say, you changed your mind.
But that's because he was what? Passionate, driven. I mean, a lot of people call him an ass.
Just you today.
Just you today? Yeah, I'm on a roll.
Everybody doesn't know how much I don't like you.
No, they pretty much know. That's why they feel sorry for me. That's when a post.
Jennifer over here is new to the company, and she's thinking, I'm rude, you're rude. Why
Why would I be here? Yeah. Why would I be here? Wait for it, Jennifer. Wait for it. There's going to be a kumbaya moment here in just a second.
I've known him too long, but I've known him since the day I got into real estate, Jennifer. So somewhere in this room is going to be your BFF.
Yep.
25 years later, and there he stands.
There he stands. For better or for worse.
There's a reason you live in
That's why you're
California.
number one.
Turk said there's a reason I live in California. Amen. Amen. People of passion are extraordinary. People who are controlled by fear are average. The average person is controlled by fear. That's why they're average. Because here's the thing. They run from things in life. The passionate people, they pursue things in life. There is a difference. Well, John, real estate's not my passion. Jennifer may say, real estate's great and I want to do it, but it's not my passion. These other things are more important to me. My kids, my spouse, this particular avocation, this hobby, whatever it is. Those things are more important. Can I give you the clue? Say yes.
Yes.
The clue is that whatever you do, I don't care what it is that you do in life as a quote-unquote job, connect that job, Lourdes, how are you? Good to see you. Connect that job to the things that you want your life to be about. Connect that job to the things that you say that you want. See, if you don't, you will look at your quote-unquote job as a job. Oh, do I have to do this again? Do you know what day of the week has the highest rate of heart attacks?
Monday.
Monday. And coincidentally, at what time?
5 to 6 a.m. 5 to 7.
Yeah, it's right in the morning, 9 a.m. approximately. Is that because people are excited about showing up for their job? No, it's because they hate their job. Fully 70% of the people polled asked the question, do you like your job or do you hate it? What do they say? Hate it. Then what the hell are they doing? Why would you do that? So look, if you don't love your job, you don't have to love. Do you think I love real estate? Say yes or no.
Yes.
No, I don't. I don't love real estate. But I love the opportunities that it gives me. There are certain things about I don't call it a job, my opportunity that I absolutely am obsessed and love. And I've identified with those things. He knows can I just use one 4-letter word? Say yes.
Yes.
There's some shit in this business that I just don't like to do. And he knows it. And so he keeps me out of it because I don't like doing it. You want to put me in a meeting about how to corporate structure or get into the details and all the numbers and all that, my head just starts spinning and I don't like it. But when we start talking about curriculum, inspiring and motivating people, sharing a message, speaking, that sort of thing, I light up. You have to identify the things in your job that you like, connect to those things. Does that mean that therefore you avoid the things that you don't like in your job? No, you still have to do those things. I still have to get involved. Yes, Jennifer?
Well, somebody told me one day that I had a problem being passionate. I
Oh,
was too
you were too
passionate.
energetic?
Yeah, I was too passionate in things.
Yeah.
I guess it's good to be passionate.
It is good to be passionate, isn't it?
But yeah, now I see that it's passion gets you what you want to be.
It always does. It always does. Here, the Wright brothers. This is a great statement. The Wright brothers had a budget of $2,000 to invent the plane. Langley had $50,000 plus all of his influence. The government gave him $50,000. He was on the board of trustees for Harvard University, for the Smithsonian. The guy was well connected. But the Wright brothers invented the plane. Why? It was passion. As soon as the Wright brothers successfully invented the plane, they flew it at Kitty Hawk, Langley gave up. Because it wasn't his passion. He was hoping to get there first so he could get the credit and make a lot of money off of it. The Wright brothers didn't care about that. They had a passion. They were bicycle repairmen. who wanted to see a plane fly, and they're obsessed by it. You better find something in life that you're obsessed with or for, and connect it with what you do on a daily basis. Real estate is a profession for me. I am not obsessed with it. But I've made certain that the things that I want my life to be about and the things that I want to achieve personally in my life, that I realize that every single day that I show up, I know that I'm working towards that end. And so therefore, I'm excited to show up. I may have a heart attack, but it's not because I don't like my job, it's because I get so damn excited about it. And it certainly won't be on a Monday. It'll probably be on a Saturday or Sunday, because I'm still working through the weekend. I saw a hand up.
Yeah. So I just got this expression that I thought might fit you. So real estate is the vehicle for your passion.
Mm-hmm. That's it. I say that oftentimes.
Real estate should be the vehicle for what we want.
Yes. And if you're not going to let it be the vehicle, then go out and find the vehicle that you want. Why be in a damn vehicle that's not going to take you to the destination that you want? Life is way too short. There are some of you who are slightly older than I am, not much. I'm one of the older ones in the room.
That's for sure.
Thank you. This guy right here, I've known for, Jim, how long have I known you?
20 years.
20 years. I know Jim looks like he's about 62, but Jim will be 80 when?
82.
82. There you go. See, time flies when you're having fun. 82. 82 years old.
I'm passionate about my family.
You what?
I'm passionate.
I was just going to say that. What I know, because I know him well enough, and we've talked enough, that Jim, at this point in his life, although he has many years to go, he can look back now and say, this was a life well lived, and I have no regrets, because he found his passion. It's his family. Every time I meet Jim, guess what the first thing is he likes to talk about? His kids and his grandkids, and then his wife. He knows his passions, and he stays close to them consistently. See, the challenge for most people, the average people, they have no passions, and so therefore they don't act passionately, and so therefore they live an average life. And they'll get a headstone, and then over time it will be worn off, whatever's inscripted on it, and nobody will remember them. That seems really horrific to me. Seems horrific. I want to be somebody that people remember, not because for me, but because I had an impact for them, and then they went out and had an impact for somebody else, and so forth and so on. That's why we're here, aren't we?
I just enjoyed reading Shoe Dog, and Phil Knight had a passion. You remember the beginning there, he talks about how he went on his run and he got back and he's thinking, what am I doing? I got my degree from Oregon, I got my master's degree from Stanford, and I don't know what I want to do, and it just happened again and again, misty morning fog, and then one word came to his mind, play. He said, I have to do something that has to do with play. And to him, running is play, even though he won blue ribbons in running and so on. But think of the passion that man had. And to read at the end how he feels about it when he starts reminiscing, and he talks about people like Michael Jordan thanking him for noticing him, and LeBron, and a variety of other people. It's, I just want to thank George and you and the whole company for suggesting such books. They're just so powerful. There's so much great information in there, and there really is, you should be able to find some kind of passion in one of those areas.
You should be able to, right? But here's the thing, and here's the challenge, and it's the second part of the conversation here. Why don't we do it? Intellectually, logically, we all understand this as we sit here today, and yet, unfortunately, for many of you, I hope not for any of you, but for many of you, statistically, what will happen is that you will walk out of here. A few of you will say, Turk, that was great. That was great. It was awesome. Right? But then you will just simply go on with your lives, doing it as you've always done it. Because see, we live by habit. What you've done up to this point today, I guarantee you, 99% of it was done just simply out of habit, because that's the way you did it yesterday. And so we're at a critical point, because we're finishing up a year, and you're going to be setting goals if you haven't already done it, right, gentlemen? And we're talking about doing more than we did, getting to say 70 transactions. Well, you know the whole phrase quoted by Einstein that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and he's talking about habit there. You have to get out of your habits. You have to change your habits. A life of old habits will just simply give you what you've always gotten. You got to change it. So you better figure out why you're going to change it. Here's the process. Number one, identify what needs to change. Write it down if you're not. Identify what needs to change. What needs to change? Whether personally or professionally, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's with your health, whether it's with your business, your finances. What needs to change?
Habits.
No, it's just, wait a second. What needs to change? Thank you. One of these days, John, you're going to get an opportunity to stand up here.
Oh, I've done it.
I know you have. You're doing it right now. What needs to change? Number two, why do I want it to change? It goes back to the question of what? It goes back to the question of love or passion.
Right.
What needs to change and why does it need to change? And then the second or the third question is, and what am I going to replace it with? So what behavior needs to change? Why do I need to change it? And what new behavior am I going to replace it with? Somebody asked me this question just yesterday. Well, how do I get into that mode? Well, for some people, have you ever gone on a diet? Any of you? If you're in the room and alive, most of you, except for the ladies. You don't need to. Be careful, right? Curtis, when are you getting back on that diet?
I got to start a diet. I've never been on a diet. See?
Been on a diet before, right? Cold turkey, cut out all the food that you're not supposed to eat, right, in order to achieve the goal.
For 1 month.
All of it? Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Is it difficult?
Yeah.
Did you stay on it?
No.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's tough. It's tough. And yet, if you had done it, would you achieve your goal?
Yes.
Not only would you achieve your goal, but if you stayed on that, you'd be living a lifestyle, and the goal that you wanted to achieve, it would become reality. It would be just, that's the way life is, right? Well, how do you do that? Because see, where you are, I want to close 70 transactions, or I want to lose a certain amount of weight, or this is the sort of relationship that I want to have with my spouse or significant other. There's a lot of work that has to go on between where you are and where you want to be. So how do you make that happen? Well, we got to identify the emotional reasons why and stay close to that, but we have to change habit. And habit, it takes time to change. Any of you watching anything that I'm posting on Instagram? How many of you?
Which account?
Which account? Do I have a couple? I may have. It's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing on this.
You're trying to get more followers.
I'm trying to get more followers, yeah. No, thank you. About 4 months ago, I took the decision I wanted to get in better shape than I've ever been in my life. And it's not as if I hadn't never been on a diet, had never lost weight, had never gained lean muscle mass, because I'd done that before. But I finally decided at the age of 49, almost 50, see, I'm willing to admit it, Dirk, that at the age of 49, I want to be in better shape than I'd ever been, including when I was in my teens and 20s. And I thought, I asked the question, is it possible? And I said, yeah, it's possible, I can do that. Here's what I learned, though, in the process. As patient as I thought that I wasn't patient enough. And for 25 years, because 25 years ago I lost over 60 pounds, but as I tried to achieve the next level, what I realized now, recently, that I was not as patient as I thought that I was. And so I would try something for a while and it didn't work, and I just assumed it didn't work for me because it wouldn't work for me. I needed a different what? A different approach, a different plan. Well, that approach works for some, but it doesn't work for me. And what I didn't realize, because I was making excuses because I wasn't being patient, that all of those other approaches, Kenzie, that I had identified and tried over the years, every damn single one of them would have what?
Worked.
Had I just simply been what? Patient.
Persistent.
Persistent. Just patient and persistent. So then how do you become patient and persistent? Well, go back to the emotional decision. But then also, how about putting some accountability? How about signing an accountability with somebody or people, a lot of people, and saying, and just announcing it, this is what I'm going to accomplish, this is what has to change, this is going to be the new behavior, and my goal deadline is this, and this is what I will have achieved on this date. And write that in to the contract. And then put some teeth in it. These two are doing it. Has your consistency in prospecting gone up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And what I know is if you're patient with the process, because we talked about this, that if you're patient with the process, over time, you will achieve your goal. Is it possible that it could take longer than you would like it to take? Yes. In every instance, say yes, because we're impatient. You pull up to McDonald's and you order whatever fast food restaurant you go to, and you order the meal, and they don't have it to you in 2 or 3 minutes, you start to freak your mind. Be honest, say yes. Yes. You do. You get irritated. And if they don't give you some throwaway like that, it's like, ugh. Right? Back in the day of my grandmother, when it was time to eat a chicken sandwich, if they even ate that, if they ate some chicken, she'd go out to the back and she'd wring the chicken's neck, pluck it, clean it, cut it up, and then she'd roast it. That process would take about an entire day. They had a little bit more patience. You want something you ordered on Amazon and they have it to you almost before you ordered it. When I was a kid, if you wanted information, you went to the Encyclopedia Britannica and you looked it up. The cool thing is the information was very recent. It was within a year's old. You know, the shelf life was about a year. Every year they would update it. So you knew what happened within, 12 months and 24 months. You were up to date. Now today, you have your information when? Just like that. Because you want it when?
No.
Yeah, you want everything now.
It all started with the microwave.
It all started with microwave. I remember that too.
That's what caused all the
It
lack
did,
of patience.
didn't it?
Think about it. It's
It
all
really
started with
did.
the microwave.
It did. Damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't you love your microwave?
Special connection to it.
Yeah, special connection. I got a love connection to my microwave. But it is. We've gotten so impatient. So then, therefore, look, recognize I am impatient. It's difficult for me to stay involved in something long term because of fear. Fear that it won't work for me. Fear that it's not working for me. Right? Fear because it requires that I change my behavior. And anytime I change my behavior, behaving differently is difficult. I don't know that I can do it. Right? I don't know that I can make that many calls. I don't know that I can convert that many calls to appointments. I don't know that I can close that many. I've never done it before. The fear of that, then how about signing the contract that says, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm just simply going to do it. Here's one of your standards, and I want you to write this down under this point. Write this to yourself. I need to stop doing things based upon how I feel and just simply do what I have to do. See, the average person wakes up in the morning and if they're having a bad day already, they feel bad, they've decided they're going to have a bad day. It's just a bad day. It's a bad day. Yes?
One of the things that I have, like when you talk about changing, one of the things that I have done lately is to try to wake up at 4
Yeah.
in the morning.
Is there oxygen that time of the morning? I've heard there is.
And how hard and how difficult it is because when you constantly do it like every single day, and then when you hit the weekend, that's where it's tough because Saturday and Sunday where you know that people are sleeping in.
Yeah.
And then your mind are telling you like, well, you need to also sleep in too.
Yeah.
Because that's people don't work, they don't come to the office.
Time to catch up on your sleep deficit.
Yeah, exactly. And been doing it for a month, I get off, get on. But I came to a point where I actually get someone to hold me accountable for it.
Yeah.
To the point where I told my sister to come and live with me, and I told her if I don't get up by 4 without alarm, you throw the ice on me.
Yeah.
Water on my face, so I have to wake up. And
It's called accountability.
I'd wake up just to get to throw ice on something.
Yeah, but you go back to bed. That doesn't count.
So now that the more I do it, the more I feel like, well, it feels so nice to wake up early in the morning now at 4.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And,
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and now.
Why do you like it?
The pain is not so bad.
Well, why do you like it? Why do you like waking up? I can tell you why I like waking up early.
I I get my exercise done,
Okay.
I get my reading, I do everything that I'm supposed to do, clean up my bed, do everything
it.
that I actually don't have time to do in the past.
Yep.
But before I always say I'm so busy, but it's just an excuse. Like me making myself feel like I'm busy, that I don't have time to do all of
I love your answers, and they're the right answers, but can I give you mine? Say yes.
Yes.
Because I know that when I'm up doing that, my competition isn't, I've got my food in the fridge. I like that.
Oh. I didn't hear your answer.
I know, because you're sleeping.
I thought it was so you had to, so you could go pee.
No, that's it. You're aware of my prostate issues? I thought we had about
I saw it on your Instagram.
He said he saw it on my Instagram. No, I said that I like waking up early and doing that, as we used to do, show up at the gym at 5:15 in the morning, because I knew that when we were doing that, our competition wasn't. They were still in bed asleep.
Sure.
In fact, when we got to the office at 7:30 for morning ascent, I knew still that our competition was asleep. It's the very reason that our competition down the street and over here and over there are basically the same thing they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, and that we are what we are. See, that motivates me. At the end of the day, I don't care what motivates you, but you better put in place some guideposts, some systems, some approaches that are going to allow you to achieve what it is that you want. Accountability is a great way to do it. It's a great way to do it. So here's what I would challenge you to do. Identify the thing that you say that you want. Find a few people. I say a few because it's great to have more than one accountability partner. Tell them what you want. Tell them the price that you're willing to pay them if you don't follow through on it, and it's their job to hold you accountable. And like Alma's saying, well, I definitely wake up to ice water on you. Find somebody who wants to have you pay them. Maybe what you do is you identify a person that you absolutely do not like and commit in the contract that every time you miss your accountability, that you give them $100. And you can hand it to them and say, man, I hate you, but here's your $100.
That could work.
You deserve it. It can work. It does work. Yeah.
There's an agent I ran into that hasn't worked here, but worked with George in the past. George had her write a "I appreciate you" letter to the person that she couldn't stand, and put $100 in that letter.
Yeah, thanks for being you.
And George was required to hold on to that letter. She never missed her accountability.
Of course not.
Ever.
Yep. You have to put in the accountability a price that is greater than the pain that you'll endure in the process of achieving your goal. Period. And until you do that, until you find the passion, the reason, the love for the thing that you want, and put it into the accountability to create the new habit, you simply won't do it. You'll be the average person who talks about it every year, is excited about it, but when February 17th comes, you'll be in the crowd. I love going to the gym. It's one of the things that I love every single day. But the period of time that I hate the most is January 2nd to February 17th, because my gym is no longer mine. It's all these new faces. But the cool thing is, when February 18th rolls around, it's my gym again. I like that. Figure out what it is that you want, why you want it, and put it in place in accountability. Fair enough? Yes.
Tony Robbins says, when is now going to be the right time for you to start?
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing. You look at it like getting an education. Right? Maybe, for example, learning the scripts and understanding your job to do it at a higher degree. Well, John, the amount of time that I would have to put into it to really learn it to the level that you do or George does, it would take me years to do that. Okay, fair enough, great, I agree, it would, because it took me years, it took him years. But let me ask you a question. How many years are going to pass with you not doing it? Say the same. So wouldn't you like to get to that point in the future being more skilled, being more of that person that you say that you want to be? Say yes.
Yes.
Well, then why not now?
Well, we have shortcuts, right? We get to model the people who have already done it.
Yeah.
We have shortcuts.
What a blessing.
It's not going to take us the, 89 years you were in real estate.
89 years, yeah. I look pretty damn good for 89. Yes, yeah. Right. Yeah. Learn from the mistakes of others, right? Okay, fair enough. Yes.
Can I say something that just keeps resonating, and I've heard this years ago, and I've heard it many times, and I certainly never heard it before coming to this company. But we are the sum equivalent of all of our choices in life up until now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
kind of scary at the same time.
Uh-huh. I always say, to that point, Chris, I always say that there are two types of people, those who are in control and those who are out of control. The people who are out of control are the victims. Those are victims. And they point to the world out there, people and circumstances, events, and say, well, it's because of that that I have the life that I have. You know, if Trump weren't in office, my life would be better. If Obama weren't in office, my life would be better. If the tax rate weren't what it is, my life would be better. You know, if traffic weren't the way that it is consistently, I wouldn't be consistently late for my appointments. It's that traffic. In other words, they never assume what? Responsibility. But then there are those who are in control. I call those the victors. Those who never look outside and say it's because of that. They always look in the mirror and say it's because of me. That they own their circumstances. They own their circumstances. Do you own your circumstances? See, most people don't. For better or for worse, I learned a long time ago, own my circumstances. I hate it. It's not fun. It's not cool. But here's the great thing about it. When you own your circumstances, it's a whole lot easier to change them. That was very profound what I just said there. I hope you get that. When you own your circumstances, it's a whole lot easier to change them. Stop blaming externalities. It's not externalities, it's you. It always is. I watch agents sometimes leave this company. When they leave, they take their challenges with them. They didn't go to a solution. They brought their challenges with them. Your solution's always within you. It always is, period. Always. Even if that means control your ego and look outside for people who are around you for assistance. So let's just go through this list very quickly. We've covered this. How do you discover your why? We've talked a lot about this, but it has to be about your love, your passion. And it doesn't have to be mine. It doesn't have to be what John's is or what Rick's is. But you better, you do in your core, you do know what you're passionate about and what you love. The challenge is we don't give ourselves enough time to sit down and really discover that and get clear about it. I would tell you it'll take you a minimum of 10 hours legitimately to figure it out. A minimum of 10. It took me longer than that. And maybe not in one session, but spending time on it and asking the question, really, what do I want my life to be about? At the end of my days, what do I want my life to be about? What do I want people to say about me? What do I want to say about myself? What do I want it to look like? What do I want my children to say about me, my grandchildren, my neighbors, my church community, my coworkers? What do I want my life to be about? Identify with that and then begin to create that now. It's be now the person that you want to be. And begin to do what they do so that you can have that life at the point that you deserve it. And the challenge is for most of us, we don't deserve the life that we say that we want right now. We have to pay the what? Pay the price. How do you acquire $1 million asset? Do your job. Figure out what your passions are and do your job. Zig Ziglar says this all the time. Help enough people get what they want and you will what? You will get what you want. Brenda Lee has 18 doors because she's been consistent at selling real estate since 1983.
Yes.
Thank you. Since 1983, she's been doing it consistently, now to a higher degree in this company than she did before. But the cool news is because she's been consistent in earning an income, she's then also consistent and disciplined in taking that money and putting them into assets, whatever those assets are. But since her business is real estate and she understands the real estate business, she's decided to stick with what she knows, which is really cool.
I was just going to say 2003, John.
2003. That's what that look was. I thought it was like, oh, I'm impressed you remember. That was, no, you ass. You just told people how old I am. She got into the business when she was 3. 3. All right. Benefits of a role play. Well, let me ask you this question very quickly. Jennifer.
Yes.
When did you get your license?
Actually not yet.
You haven't gotten it yet. Yeah. When you get your license, you will officially be a what?
Real estate agent.
No, you won't.
No?
Nope. Officially, when she gets her real estate license, she will be a what?
Leader.
Say it.
Leader.
Leader. Remember what he just said. That's very important. If you're taking notes, write that down. I want you to own that. You're a leader. Benefits of a role play. That's play, not playing. Benefits of role play is, that's all about what? What is that topic about?
Honing your ability to
Say it.
You know, the lead.
No, you said it.
Communication.
Oh, it's over
I
here.
said it.
Thank you. You were throwing your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, communication. When you signed up to be in real estate, whether you like it or not, because the answer is not going to change, although agents try to, and brokers try to, and third parties try to change it, the fact is your number one skill in this business is going to be your ability to communicate with another human being. Because you're going to ask people to follow you. You're going to ask buyers and sellers to follow you. Follow me and I will help you get what it is that you want. Well, nobody's going to be interested if you don't know how to communicate in a way that inspires people and motivates people to change their perspective, to change their behavior so you can help them get what it is that they want. That's called leadership. It's called influence. The number one way that leaders influence people is the way in which they what? Communicate. So, benefits of role play. Let me make it really clear. Your number one skill in life is your ability to communicate. You want life to get better? Say yes. Yes. You want your relationships to get better, both your intimate and your professional relationships to get better? Yes. Then get better at communicating. Before we're done here, I'll give you a list of books you should be reading on communication.
Yeah, I've been a hairdresser for 20 years, and I think it's more easy to sell, I think, houses than just keep a client for 20 years coming to you with a new idea, new stuff, new conversation. Because it's not only the hair, it's the convince them that you're going to look good. This is good for you. Especially with the attitude that they come every single time they come.
Yep. The good news is that as a hairdresser, you are really skilled at asking a lot of questions, engaging people in conversation. That is going to be very beneficial for you. What I will say to you, though, is this. Buckle up. I say this to everybody. I don't care who's in front of me. I don't care if you were the President of the United States. I would say this. Buckle up. Well, maybe except for the last one. The current one. This will be the hardest thing that you ever do. The hardest thing that you ever do. I believe that firmly. It's the reason that 80% of the people who get in are out within 24 months. And the reason it's the hardest thing to do is because when people are polled, the thing that they fear the most is what? Is public speaking. And the reason they don't like public speaking is because their fear is what? Being rejected. See, most people will say that they prefer death over public speaking, which is not true. I think we'd all prefer to be the one standing and giving the eulogy and not the person in the casket, right? Right? But it's all about our ability to influence people. That's the benefits of role play, knowing what to say and how to say it so we can inspire people, motivate people, to instill confidence in them, so that we have the ability to build rapport, like, trust, and respect, and also offer value to them, because this is a business transaction that you're asking them to engage in. And if you don't offer value to them, they're not going to choose you. You can have them like you all you want because you got a dog just like theirs, or you like cars like they do, or you golf and they golf. Fine, but at the end of the day, that's irrelevant when it comes to business. You better offer what? Value. And your number one value that you offer to people in this business is what? Your ability to communicate, period. It's not an app. It's not the name of the company. It's not your card, not your signs, not the collateral material. Parties will teach you that. They'll tell you that because they're selling you something. I'm only selling you one thing. I'm selling you on your dreams. I'm selling you on what it takes to achieve the life that you want. That's it. I have nothing to gain. I'm not selling you anything. I just want you to be successful. I want you to live the life that you want. Influence. You're a leader, Jennifer. Say it. Say, I'm a leader.
I'm a leader.
Good. Give her a round of applause. What are you willing to accept in your life? Here's what I would say to that. It's a very simple answer. Be willing to accept pain. Stop running from pain. The reason most people don't have the life that they want, aren't living the life that they want, is because they're running from pain. They're trying to avoid it. It's like going to the gym and saying, I'm going to get in shape. Okay, here we go. I got to go. I'm going to lose 20 pounds over the next 6 months. And every time you show up, you look at the machine, you say, yeah, I can do that because it burns every time I do it. So you walk around, look at it, look at yourself in the mirror, go, oh man, I don't like what I see, but yeah, I'm not, and then you walk out. And every time you show up at the gym, that's what you do because you avoided pain every step of the way. And yet what we know, if you showed up and did your job in the gym and felt that excruciating pain, that lactic acid buildup, and the pain, that soreness for the next 2 or 3 days, that if you did that consistently over 6 months, would you achieve your goal? Yes. Yeah, as long as you changed your diet along with that, because that's 80% of it, but you would, right?
Well, no, when people think that they're willing to accept pain, often they overexert and create more pain than is needed.
Yeah. In other words, yeah, he said it. Be more patient in the process. Don't expect that it's all going to change right now.
And be willing to endure a lower level of pain over a longer period.
Yeah, in other words, be persistent, as you said, or be patient. I agree. Yep, spot on. I saw a hand, I thought, over here. Anything? Yes, sir.
I will.
Yes, sir.
I'll go.
Yeah.
So, the interesting thing is we always think that we can escape pain. Like, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to work out on that machine. But you will, it's basically the price. You're going to pay the price regardless.
Either way.
It's going to be the price a year from now when you're 20 pounds overweight and you're thinking of what could have been.
Yep.
It's the gravestone.
Or at the end of your life, you look and say, why didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a lot more painful.
The thing that scares me the most is that image. The end of my life, whatever that is, right? 70, 80, 90, 100, and looking back and saying, it's too late. Why didn't I? Those opportunities are gone. Those people are gone. It's done. I can't get that back. Money returns, time doesn't. You can always get more money, but you can't get more time. Don't squander it. What would you do differently? What would I do differently? I would accept the truth. I would seek out the truth and I would accept it. I wouldn't look for the easy answer. If it sounds easy, then it's the wrong answer. Because the truth usually hurts. There's a lot of pain in the process. A successful life is always more complicated and has much more pain than an unsuccessful life. What do you mean by that, John? What I mean by that is this. That goals that have a high price associated with them, very few people will actually ever achieve because they say they want it, but they're not willing to pay the price. So therefore, most people are complacent. They'll just live with what they have because that's easier in the moment. And you can look, there are people who are complacent and live an okay life, and they seem to be happy, and that's great. To me, that's painful. I don't want to go my entire life and look back on it and say, but I could have done this, this, and this. Every day I think about that, and that pain is excruciating. But as Chris said, there's either going to be the pain of the process or there's going to be pain of regret. Which one do you want to take? And the one has a significant compound effect, the one of regret. And here's the challenge. You can't get out of paying it. You're going to pay it. And the challenge is the cost of the thing that you want, the process, the price of the process, you can't get out of that either. So you can either continue to do what you're doing and have what you have, or you can just buck up, decide to endure the pain now consistently every single day, but then experience the gains or the progress. The single best way, once you get through that accountability that I've suggested that you create, to stay engaged in the process, Dylan, is to experience the progress. Those of you who have ever set a goal and then began to see progress, to see the change, whether it was in the relationship or it was with your physical self, or it was with your business, that as you started to see the progress, you started to experience the progress, did the process get a little more exciting? Did you find that you started to double down and actually tighten the screws a little bit more? And maybe instead of getting up at 5, you got up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock. Maybe instead of saying, well, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to achieve this plus a little bit more, because you realize that it's possible. I'll leave you with this analogy. This will be the last thing that I say. We all are traveling down the path of life, and we all have a flashlight. For some, their flashlight is a basic aluminum rayovac. And for some, it's a beacon that lets them see hundreds of yards down the pathway. To me, it doesn't matter what size your flashlight is. What matters is your willingness to take one step down the pathway. Whether you have the rayovac or the beacon, the truth is you can see far enough in front of you to take what? One step. That's all you need to take is one. Because as you take one step, it allows you to see one step further down the pathway. That's all you need to see. The challenge is for most of us, we want to know exactly how it's going to be from start point A to point Z. And the challenge is nobody can tell you what that looks like. I don't care how successful they are, they can't. So therefore, just trust in the fact that if you take one step, it will allow you to illuminate one step further down the pathway to know what you need to do. Ultimately, how is none of your business. Just simply begin the process. And I promise you, if you will take one step every single day, doing the same thing consistently in a defined successful program or process or plan, you'll achieve it. It's not a question of if, it's only a question of what? When. So when you want it, I don't know, define it and then work on the process. So, I don't know if you had a good time today. To me, it doesn't matter because I had a great time. So, but I appreciate seeing you, mostly familiar faces, a few of you new faces, but hopefully it was helpful. If I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas. I will be with my family tonight at the movie night, but in case we don't get a chance to talk, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. Thank you.
Does Jack have hockey Saturday?
Normally he does. I don't know what happened with the schedule.